by the water.
Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. Let me tell you something. In the penitentiary, if you don't learn to stand for something, you'll find yourself sitting down when you take a pee. Period, point blank. Now, let me explain this story to you. It's this guy named Mississippi, right? We called him Mississippi because he was from Mississippi, right? Good dude, you know what I'm saying? Wasn't affiliated with anything. He just was in another state. Didn't have a lot of friends, didn't know anybody, but he was cool. He was a likable type of dude. You feel what I'm saying? And outside the cell that he was in, everybody messed with him, you know what I'm saying? To the extent that, it's like talked to him, kicked it with him, played chess, played dominoes, played spades with him, every now and then, because he didn't have people sending him a lot of money, anything like that. So every now and then, you might see somebody breaking bread with him because, he didn't have a lot on the shelf. He went to every meal in the chow hall, and when you're surviving off of every meal in the chow hall, that's an indication that you're not doing good. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is, right? Now, there are some exceptions to that because some people eat every meal in the chow hall and they eat, off the shelf so that they don't have to spend a lot of money. So there are some exceptions, but for the most part, most people in the penitentiary, they go into every chow hall meal. Oh, they struggling. That's just what it is. They are struggling. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. Mississippi had a cellie. And his cellie was in the penitentiary for domestic violence. Now, an abuser on the streets is usually an abuser in the penitentiary. Fact. No if, and but. But, for the most part, they tread real light. They tread real light because everybody in the penitentiary is in here for something. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're actually innocent of the crime that you're in here for. But you learn this environment and you learn what you have to do in this environment to survive. So an abuser treads lightly. They have these real slick, manipulative ways to where they get to exercise their demons in here. You feel what I'm saying? And this is some of the things that they do. Let me give you some examples of what they do while I tell this story. Just pay attention because this is very important because people that come in here as abusers don't typically stop being an abuser on their own. This is important. This is important. Now, see, an abuser on the street, let me get to that. Let me just tell you that. Let me lay some foundation on that. An abuser on the streets is taking advantage of their wife or partner, whoever they're with. You understand what I'm saying? Beating them up in private. People outside of that house, they'll know. People outside of that relationship will know something's not right. But the victim is, reluctant to share that with anybody for reasons. You know what I'm saying? They might be embarrassed or whatever the case may be, right? But for whatever reason, and I'm still sick, y'all, so I'm sipping on water as I'm talking, okay? For whatever reason, they are reluctant to say anything to anybody or reluctant to ask for help. They're embarrassed, you know what I'm saying, for the most part. So that isolation is what allows that abuser to take advantage of that person, period. And it's the same in the penitentiary. In that cell, that's considered the house. I don't consider the house because psychologically that's dangerous, but a lot of people consider that to be the house, the home, whatever the case may be, right? But it's that area where the individuals in that cell are isolated for those hours that they're in the cell during count, and at night when they're sleeping, they're isolated from everybody else. It's only them. And an abuser always looks for opportunities to take advantage of a situation. And in this case, Mississippi, like I said, wasn't no sucker, wasn't no slouch, wasn't nothing like that. And that's what a lot of us need to understand. It ain't got nothing to do with that. It's not about the person that's being manipulated, what type of person they are. It's about the abuser pushing boundaries, pushing the boundaries. So Mississippi is in the cell. You don't get to decide when you first come into the penitentiary. When you first get to a compound, you get to a unit, you get assigned whatever cell is open. All right? Later on, if you don't get along with your cellie, you're not compatible with the cellie, there are ways for you to get out of that cell and get moved to another cell. But initially, Mississippi had to be in that cell with that individual. So he ain't had no say in that. Now, he doesn't know that this dude is not straight, but everybody in the pod knows. And, people in the pod, you live together. It's like a community. And you get to know the people in that community. You know what I'm saying? They get to know you. And people in the community, people in that unit, they had gotten to know that Mississippi Sally was not the type of dude that, you want to be in the cell with. He was real demanding. He had all these different rules he wants to go by, rules that ain't got nothing to do with nothing other than to control the individual. He didn't want you to eat inside of the cell. If you cook the noodle, he would rather you go outside the cell and eat. But here's the caveat to that. He would eat in the cell. You know what I'm saying? He would do things like that. He would buff and wax the floor for hours, causing you, to have to sit outside the cell. And if you drop some water happen to drip off your cup, you know how your cup might sweat. If some water might happen to drip off your cup and drop on the floor and hit the floor, after he waxed it, he'd have a fit. But it was all about controlling his celly. So this is one of the first things he did to try to get Mississippi's, attention and try to manipulate him, right? One of the first things he did, like I said, anytime, Mississippi would be able to break bread with somebody, out in the pod or whatever the case may be, or they shared a meal with him or they gave him a noodle or whatever, he would tell his seller, said, man, I don't want you eating in the cell, man. Shouldn't be eating in the cell. And Mississippi reluctant to challenge him on, what he's saying, because he's seen him eat in the cell. He's been in the cell with him now for a couple of weeks. So he's seen him eat in the cell, but Mississippi don't want no smoke. He don't want no smoke. So he sat out at the table and he's eating. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing about that. Nothing wrong with that, because some people do that voluntarily. But see, I'm one of those individuals, when I'm eating, I like to be in the cell, watching TV or listening to some music, just chilling, or just getting my thoughts together. I don't want to be all out in the public eye, everybody walking around, looking over your food, coughing, sitting down, talking to you. Some people talking, spit coming out their mouth. It might drop in your food. Just different things like that. I'm not at a restaurant, so I don't want to be out. You feel what I'm saying? I want to chill where I lay my head when I eat my meal. But Mississippi complies. He sits out at the table, he eats his meal, and he's talking to people. He's kicking it. He don't mind so much. This dude is a good dude. He's letting that roll off his back. He don't really see what's going on. He don't see the manipulation, right? But other people do. Other people telling him in nonchalant ways, like, Mississippi, man, don't that dude be ordering you around, man. You know what I'm saying? You live in there too. You feel what I'm saying? Mississippi's telling him, he said, yeah, I know, man, but I ain't tripping, man. I eat out here, kick it with y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Blah, blah, blah. Everybody looking at it like, oh, okay then. Okay, that's what's up. So the next thing go on, the dude, Mississippi Sally, he'll tell Mississippi he needs to use the restroom. He'll put a violation up. When he put the violation up, he'll stay in the cell for hours. Ain't nobody using the restroom for no 2 hours. If it take you 2 hours to use the restroom, you need to go to the clinic and see the doctor. You feel me? That's just like if you were on the town and you went into your bathroom and you stayed in there for 2 hours. You're not taking a shower. You're not taking a bath. You're going there to use the restroom, 1 or 2. You feel what I'm saying? It don't take 2 hours. And if it takes you 2 hours to use the restroom, the toilet, you might need to go see a doctor. But that's what he would do. He would do that intentionally. And Mississippi would have to sit outside the cell. And sometimes, Mississippi would have to use the restroom. He'll knock on the door. He said, hey, cell, I need to use the restroom. And then after about 2 or 3 minutes, his cell will take the violation down. And then when he take the violation down, he'll lay back down on the bunk. Now, sometimes, you know what I'm saying, when you got to take number 1, you don't mind. You ain't tripping. You feel what I'm saying? But when you need to use the number 2 and do number 2, you need this person to step up out the shell. It's simple as that. But Mississippi would have to tell him, he'll lay back down in the bed. And then Mississippi said, look, man, I need to use the restroom, man. You need to get up out of here. So then he get up and walk out the cell, but he's grumbling all this, man, ain't nobody got time for all that. Ain't nobody thinking about you. Ain't nobody gay in this cell. He would say stuff like that to try to make Mississippi feel uncomfortable about wanting to use the restroom in private. You understand? And that's just another way he was trying to get inside of his head. And then the whole time he's sitting outside the cell, he's at the table, he's grunting and groaning, you know what I'm saying, grumbling about something and mad about something. And everybody's looking at him like, what's wrong with this fool? But everybody understands it's all manipulation. He's trying to get inside Mississippi's head so he can make Mississippi feel like he's the one that needs to capitulate. He's the one that needs to be subordinate. That's the play. That's the play. So another one of the things that he did when he's in the cell with Mississippi is like he be washing his clothes. And he be washing his clothes. Now, this is how you get somebody. He's washing his clothes first, and then he'll ask Mississippi, you got any clothes you need to wash while I'm doing it? Because what we'll do when we wash our own clothes, we'll get the mop bucket. And then with the mop bucket, we'll take a trash bag and we'll put that trash bag in there as a line, and then we'll fill it up with hot water, you know what I'm saying, soap powder, stuff like that, whatever. So we can get in there and then we can, wash the clothes. And then after we scrub them with our hands as best as we can, then we'll tie that trash bag up. And once that trash bag is tied up, then we'll put it inside of another trash bag, and now we'll shake it real, real vigorously for 30 or 40 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Trying to clean it that way, and then we'll pour it out and rinse it. But anyway, he'll ask Mississippi, you need anything washed? And Mississippi at first was saying no. Then after a while, one day he said, yeah. He said, man, just give me all your dirty clothes, man. I'm going to put them in here and wash them. But what he'll do, he put them in the thing, right? Now, he would always have all his stuff labeled with his initials, so he'd keep it separate. So once he put Mississippi stuff in there, he washing the stuff. Now, don't nobody know he's doing this. This is what I'm telling you about keeping it inside that house. Don't nobody know he's doing it, right? He's washing the clothes. He's washing the clothes. You feel what I'm saying? And then he says, I'm going to let these clothes soak. I'm going to let them soak. So Mississippi thinking, you know what I'm saying, after some time, they're getting kind of cool and everything is working itself out, right? But it's really not. This is the plot. This is the plot. This is what he's getting ready to do. He's finna pop his whip on them, right? So now he tell Mississippi, he said, look, man, I done washed them, man. I done all this. Now you might need to scrub them a little bit. Now keep in mind, his stuff is labeled, Mississippi's is not. So everything's going to be separate. But he got boxer shorts in there just like Mississippi got boxer shorts in there, right? So he tell him you need to scrub them and stuff like that. All the clothes. He said it won't take you 5 minutes to scrub through everything and then put them back in the bag, tie it back up, and then I'll rinse them off. What he trying to do, he trying to see if Mississippi going to wash his drawers. That's what he's trying to do. So he leaves out of the cell while Mississippi's doing. He's in and out. But he's in and out because he's just trying to catch Mississippi washing them drawers. So once he sees him trying to clean them, in Mississippi mind, he's just trying to clean laundry. But cleaning another man's drawers in the penitentiary is a big deal, y'all. It's a big deal because it can be used as leverage. It can be used as leverage in here. People, you tell people that this particular dude or your cellie or somebody, they washing another man's drawer, it's assumed a whole lot in the penitentiary that person might be soft. Notice that I didn't say gay. I said soft. Because it ain't always about trying to have sex with somebody in here. It's about trying to control people in here. That's what it's about. Now, sex is used as a weapon in the penitentiary to control people. But most of the time, you might not hear this from a lot of other people, but most of the time, it's just about controlling the individual. And whatever tactic works. And with this abuser, he wasn't a rapist. You feel me? He wasn't a rapist. And he wasn't homosexual, right? He was an abuser. And he was trying to find whatever mechanism that he could use as leverage to control Mississippi. Now, Mississippi knew that, certain things in here you don't want to be perceived as soft because that takes, that makes everybody else start to look at you like they can get you. So when Mississippi Setter walks back in and he sees him cleaning his underwear, now he starts to push. Now he starts to disrespect Mississippi. He said, boy, man, after you finish doing that, rinse him out, man, and then hang him up on this line, man. That's what you need to do, right? Now, Mississippi looking at him like, he ain't really taking that boy word as serious as he needs to in the penitentiary. Because when you call somebody a boy in the penitentiary, you feel what I'm saying? What you're saying is that they're soft. Now, if you playing basketball, because some people be playing basketball, and we grow up in a culture of basketball, that's a good shot, boy, and keep it moving. You feel what I'm saying? It's different. It's the connotation that you use it in. You know what I'm saying? It's just like when a lot of people use, the word nigga. What's up, my nigga? You feel me? But if a white person say that, then we're going to be all up in arms about the being. You understand what I'm saying? So it's the connotation you lose. It's the proper. What context are you using that word in? And in the penitentiary, most of the time, the word boy is the connotation that it's used in is that you soft, you weak, sucker. You feel what I'm saying? So he did that. Now Mississippi's feeling some kind of way. Because he caught all that, and now he's pissed off that he fell into that trap. But now he don't want to go out there in the pod with the guys that he's been familiar with and been kicking it with. He don't want to go out there in the pod and tell them what he done. You feel what I'm saying? He don't want them to know that he done watched another man's draw. So now he's starting to keep that to himself. It's just like when you on the town and you in an abusive relationship, you don't want your family to know that this man done beat on you. You don't want that to be known. So now Mississippi is caught between the rock and a hard place. He don't know what to do. But luckily for Mississippi, the other people in the pod, they knew the play. They knew the play, and there was some dudes in that pod that was sick of Mississippi selling. They told Mississippi, said, look, whatever he done, man, whatever he done, because they knew that he wasn't on the sex as a tool. You feel what I'm saying? So they knew it had to be some other craziness. They said, whatever he's done, man, you're going to have to stand up. Because if you don't stand up, you're going to end up sitting down. What do I mean by that? In the penitentiary, one of the biggest tools, one of the biggest weapons of humiliation is to make another man sit down to take a piss. Whether you intend to, you know what I'm saying, whether the person intends to have sex with him or not, or rape him or not, this is that, ain't got nothing to do with it. If you make another man sit down against his will to take a piss, you got him. And you got a lot of people in here on it. I'm telling y'all, it's hard for people to understand what goes on in here when you're not here. But we're telling you these stories to make you understand. You know, me and my son, we try to tell you these stories to make you understand, to give you some kind of idea of how treacherous this place can be. So now these old heads outside the cell, they telling Mississippi, man, you got to stand up. You got to stand up. So Mississippi back inside the cell later on that day, right, that night. Now he's laying there, he's listening to all the things that all the guys been telling. He said, you're going to have to stand up. And they let him know, look, dude is weak. Dude is an abuser, man. He likes to manipulate people and control people, man. But if you push back, he going to ball up. And that's all Mississippi thinking about. And they told Mississippi, we got your back. And now Mississippi laying in that cell. And he's thinking. Because his cellar feel like he can talk crazy to him, tell him, get up and get him a cup of water. You know, do this, do that, all of these different types of things, right? And he knows eventually his cellar's going to tell him to sit down and take a piss. He knows that's coming based off the conversation that he's had with these other guys. You feel me? So Mississippi laying up on the top bunk and he hears his cellar tell him, he said, look here, man, I need to get the cell. Now, it's about 20 minutes before the lockdown, right? Mississippi done got comfortable. He laid in there, he chilling. So Mississippi tell him, he said, man, look at what you need to sell for. It's almost 20 minutes for lockdown. Now, that shocked dude. They shocked him. He said, man, don't ask me what I need to sell for. Just get up and get up out of here. He said, man, I'm not getting up out of here, man. Whatever you need to do, you need to go on and do it, man. Whatever you need to do, you need to go on and do it. So his cellar gets up, he takes a leak, but instead of being the kind of dude that respects it, takes a leak and turns toward the wall so his cellar can't see it, he turns as much as he can towards Mississippi so Mississippi can see his privates. And right then and there, Mississippi jumped down up off that bunk and went straight into his grill, man. Straight into his grill because he knew he had to. And when he hit his cellar pissed all on himself and pissed all on Mississippi, but Mississippi didn't let up. He kept beating him. About that time, you could hear the scuffling in the cell. Everybody outside the cell, you could hear the scuffling. You know how tennis shoes sound and somebody hollering and fist bumping all up beside that. You hear all of that. And it scared him. It scared Mississippi's cellar to death. He started screaming out, help, help. Then he break up out the cell. He didn't even get his pants pulled up. You feel me? Now, the officer's shocked because he seen him run up outside the cell with his pants halfway down. He wondered what's going on. He hit the button, called the code. Everybody come. Captain, lieutenant, everybody run into the pod. What's going on? And then when they see who it is, they know what's going on because dude had a reputation. He had a reputation. So one of the old heads in the pod pulled the captain to the side and tell the captain, he said, look, Captain, y'all know what's up with dude. Y'all know what's up with dude, man. He been pushing on this young boy, man, trying to control this young boy. That young boy got tired of it. So the captain looked at him. He said, oh, okay, I understand. But the captain had to take both of them to the hole. He take both of them to the back, put them in the hole. He tell the young dude, he said, look, you got to stay back here, pending investigation. We're going to look into this. And if everything turned out to be what we think it is, we're going to let you out. You're going to be okay. So don't worry about it, okay? You got to lay back here, though, until we figure this out. We can't put you out there, take a chance that something else might happen. So the young boy, you know what I'm saying, Mississippi, he laid back now. He feeling good about himself because he stood up. Because that's what you got to do in the penitentiary. If you don't stand for something, you'll end up sitting down. You feel what I'm saying? This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker. And I say peace, y'all. I've been trying to breathe underwater.